constitutional republic. So we say this with full responsibility and not loosely. Now, why do we say this? Because there has been significant manipulation of the voter lists in the recently held Vidhan Sabha elections in Maharashtra. I will present data and evidence for this. There has been a suspicious addition of a large number of voters for the Maharashtra Vidhan Sabha election. And not only has there been a large number of additions, but somehow magically all these new voters seem to have voted just for one alliance, which is the Mahayuti. And thereby, this helped the Mahayuti alliance win a big majority in the Vidhan Sabha election after losing the Lok Sabha election in exactly the same state with exactly the same voters just 6 months earlier. As per the Election Commission, this is Election Commission of India's own data, there were 48 lakh new voters, that is nearly 50 lakh new voters, 48, remember this number, 48. It's a very important number and I'll tell you why later. 48 lakh new voters were added in the electoral roll for the Vidhan Sabha election after the Lok Sabha election. So that is in just 6 months, 48 lakh new voters were added. In 5 years, between 2019 and 2024, in the 5 years before, only 32 lakh voters were added. How is it in 6 months? 48 lakh voters are added, but in previous 5 years in the same state in Maharashtra, only 32 lakh voters were added. Does this sound logical? But what is worse? I'll tell you what is worse. The Election Commission of India said there were 9.7 crore total voters for the Maharashtra Vidhan Sabha election. But guess what? The total adult population of Maharashtra, which is 18 years and above, is only 9.52 crores. 9.54 crores rather. And I am not saying this. Who is saying that the total adult population of Maharashtra is only 9.54 crores in 2024? It's the Narendra Modi government's Ministry of Health. Congress party is not saying this. Mr. Prithviraj Chavan or Praveen Chakravarti are not saying this. This is the Narendra Modi's government's Ministry of Health report that's saying there are only 9.54 crore adults in Maharashtra. Have you ever heard of an election commission that has more voters than the adult population of a state? Should we not raise this as a big issue? So here is where the interesting part comes now. Remember, 48 lakh new voters were added for the Vidhan Sabha election. But somehow, magically, all these 48 lakh new voters have voted for Mahayuti Alliance. How is that possible? And how am I saying it? Between the Lok Sabha election and the Vidhan Sabha election, the Mahayuti Alliance got 72 lakh more votes. That is, compared to the Lok Sabha election, in the Vidhan Sabha election, the Mahayuti Alliance got 72 lakh more votes. Now, where did they get these more votes, extra votes from? You will think people who voted for the Maha Vikas Aghadi alliance in the Lok Sabha may have shifted to the Mahayuti alliance for the Vidhan Sabha. Correct? Whatever the reasons may be, that is the logic. You would think people who voted for Maha Vikas Aghadi in the Lok Sabha would have shifted to Mahayuti, and so Mahayuti alliance got 72 lakh more voters. Correct? No. Only 24 lakh voters that voted for Maha Vikas Aghadi in Lok Sabha shifted away. Only 24 lakh. But the Mahayuti alliance got 72 lakh more votes. They did not come, all of them did not come from shifting of votes from Mahavikas Aghadi. So 72 minus 24 is 48. Magic. 48 lakh new voters have voted for Mahayuti alliance in the Vidhan Sabha. How many new voters were added in the for the Vidhan Sabha election according to the Election Commission of India? 48 lakh. Is this some miraculous coincidence? Is this some divine intervention if you are a believer? Or is it, as what Dr. Ambedkar would call, executive interference, government interference in an election commission? How does this explain? Is this not strange? So, what is happening? You may ask, what is happening on the ground then? So I very clearly said 48 lakh new voters, which is much more than what the number of voters that were added in 5 years before. More voters for the Maharashtra Vidhan Sabha election than the estimated adult population by the Narendra Modi government in 2024. And magically there is 48 lakh new votes that the Mahayuti alliance gets and win a majority. Who are these new voters? Are they real people or fake or ghosts or duplicates or brought in from other states? Who are these voters? Were their documents checked? Were their Aadhaar cards checked or any other proof of identity and residence? Are they residents of Maharashtra? These are all very logical questions. These are the questions that we are asking the Election Commission of India. And I want to give you one example. In Loni village in Shirdi Assembly constituency, nearly 5,000 to 7,000 voters were added from just one building. Just one building. When the Congress candidate Pratibha Gogre ji, she found out and she went to the Election Commission and questioned it. And she went and asked the voters. She asked the voters, are you a resident of this village? Do you have Aadhaar card? All of them said no. She asked them, how did you register to be voters? They said they were brought in by the BJP candidate V.K. Patil. His team, not him directly. And when Prabhavati ji complained to the Election Commission, there was absolute silence, no action. This is just one example of 5,000 to 7,000 votes in one village in Shirdi. This is how 48 lakh may have been added. There is a very clear pattern here. There are 132 constituencies in which 25,000 or more voters were added just for the Vidhan Sabha election, after the Lok Sabha election. 132 constituencies.